There are science-backed techniques you can do to immediately sharpen your focus. Here are 7 of them. Number 1, brief cold exposure. This one is quick and the effect is almost immediate. Splashing cold water on your face or taking a brief cold shower before a work session triggers a rapid release of norepinephrine in your brain. Norepinephrine is a neurotransmitter closely tied to alertness, attention, and arousal. When it spikes, your brain shifts into a sharper, more focused state almost instantly. This isn't a placebo. The norepinephrine response to cold has been measured and it's significant. You don't need an ice bath. Even 30 seconds of cold water on your face is enough to trigger the response. Discomfort is actually part of the mechanism. Your brain interprets the cold as a mild stressor and responds by ramping up alertness to deal with it. So if you're about to sit down for a work session and you feel like sluggish or scattered, go to the sink first. It takes 30 seconds and it works faster than a second cup of coffee. Number 2, caffeine timing. Most people drink coffee the second they wake up. And it makes sense. You're tired and the coffee is there. But there's a specific reason why that's working against you. While you're awake, your brain continuously produces a chemical called adenosine. It builds up throughout the day, and the more of it accumulates, the more pressure you feel to sleep. That's your brain's way of tracking how long you've been awake and nudging you toward rest. When you sleep, your brain clears that adenosine out. But when you first wake up, that clearing process isn't finished yet. There is still residual adenosine in your system. That's the grogginess you feel in the first hour after waking up. Now, caffeine works by blocking adenosine receptors, the sites where that tiredness chemical docks and signals your brain to slow down. If you drink coffee before that clearance is done, you're blocking those receptors while adenosine is still building up behind them. And when the caffeine wears off, a few hours later, all of it hits at once. And that's the 2 p.m. crash. You didn't randomly get tired. You set that up first thing in the morning. To prevent this, wait 90 to 120 minutes after waking before your first cup. This way, the caffeine will work better, last longer, and crash either disappears or becomes much weaker. The third one. When most people sit down to work, they just start, which sounds fine, but there's actually something really quick you can do before you start that significantly shifts your brain into a different state. It has to do with your eyes. There's a direct neurological link between your visual system and your level of alertness. The way your eyes are moving or not moving changes how your brain is functioning in real time. When your gaze is drifting around, scanning the room, checking your phone, your brain is in this wide, open, panoramic mode, which is great when you're relaxing, but not great when you need to focus, because in that mode, your brain is naturally more distractible. It's just waiting to be pulled somewhere. But when you fix your gaze on one single point and hold it, something shifts. The circuits involved in focused, deliberate thinking become more active. You're essentially using your visual system as a lever to change your cognitive state, which, when you first hear that, sounds almost too simple to be real, but it's well documented. So before you start working, pick one spot. Your screen, a point on the wall, anything. Stare at it without looking away for about 60 seconds. It'll feel like a mild strain on your eyes, and especially the first few times you do this, your gaze will probably drift, your eyes will lose focus, wander off the spot without you even noticing, and that's fine. That's actually the whole point. The moment you catch it happening, bring your attention back to the spot. By doing so, you're actively transitioning your brain into a focused state. Do this for about 60 seconds and then start working. Number 4, pay attention to this next method because it's small but surprisingly effective, and most people completely overlook it. Look at where your screen is sitting relative to your eyes. If you're looking down at a laptop on a desk or a book flat on the table, your eyelids tend to drift half closed, and that posture signals to your brain that you're winding down, not powering up. Neuroscience and posture research suggests that when your gaze is level or slightly upward, your alertness system are more engaged. When you're looking down for long stretches, Your posture and eyelid position start to resemble a more relaxed, sleepy state, which slowly pulls your focus with it. To fix this, raise your laptop onto a stand, a stack of books, anything, so the top of the screen sits at or just above eye level. If you're reading, prop the book up so you're not hunched over it. You're not doing this for posture alone, you're using your eye level or neck position as a subtle lever to keep your brain in a more awake, alert state while you work. Number 5. Background noise. For many people, silence is not actually ideal for concentration, particularly those with naturally lower dopamine baseline levels, such as people with ADHD-like traits. I know that sounds backwards, but here's what's happening. When there's nothing in your sound environment, your auditory system becomes hypersensitive. Every random noise, a distant conversation, someone moving a chair, a notification from another room, grabs your attention because there's nothing else for it to hold on to. Each one is a small interruption, and they add up more than you'd think. The fix is simple. Put on headphones and play steady background noise. White noise, pink noise, or brown noise are the most studied ones. You can find hours of all three for free on YouTube. Just search the names. How does it work? The steady, unstructured sound gives your auditory system something consistent to sit with. So random spikes of noise from the environment can't break through as easily. That's the first thing it does. It masks the irrelevant. But there's more going on underneath that. White and pink noise have been shown to raise the baseline activity of dopamine neurons in a region deep in the brain called substantia nigra. Dopamine here isn't just about reward, it's about motivation and drive. When that baseline goes up slightly, it becomes easier for your brain to enter and stay in a focused state. And on top of that, studies show this kind of background noise increases activity in the prefrontal cortex, the part of the brain that actually directs and sustains your attention. More activity there means your brain is actively steering toward the task rather than drifting away from it. As for which type to use, just try all three and see which one you can sit with longest without it becoming distracting. Method number 6 is externalizing your distracting thoughts, which can make a huge difference if your mind keeps pulling you away from the task. Keep a piece of paper next to you while you work or study, and whenever a thought comes up and starts competing for your attention, write it down in a few words, like the joke your friend told you earlier, or that email you need to reply to, or that idea you do not want to forget later. The reason this works is that your attention and working memory are limited. If your brain keeps trying to hold on to a thought, part of your mental bandwidth gets tied up in it. By writing it down, you're offloading it. You're telling your brain, I don't need to keep this active right now. It's stored, I can come back to it later. And the key part is this: when you're done with your work, come back to the list and actually go through it. That's what makes your brain trust this method. Alright, the last method. Your brain doesn't sustain focus in a flat line. It runs on cycles called Ultradian Rhythms, which are roughly 90 minutes long. During each cycle, your brain can sustain genuinely high-quality cognitive output. After that, neural activity drops. The brain wants to shift into a lower gear and recover. This isn't a motivation problem. It's just how the hardware works. You can see it in brain scans. The activity literally changes. Most people push through that drop. And you can, sort of, but the work gets noticeably worse. It costs way more effort and you're degrading every block of work that comes after it. You're not being more productive, you're just burning through your capacity faster. So set a 90-minute timer. That's your working block. When the timer ends, stop. Like actually stop. Get away from your screen and take a break for 10 to 15 minutes. That's not a wasted time, that's your neural circuits resetting, and your next block will be just as sharp as your first one. These were 7 science-backed, completely free ways to boost your focus. Now you know. If you're curious about the research, check the video description for the full reference.